So paint peels for many different reasons, but the number one reason, and I believe it's 97 or 98% of the reason paint peels, is because water's getting behind it. Now you would think that's not a big deal here in Prescott because we don't get a lot of rain. But if there's a crack in your paint coating, water or humidity can actually get in there and cause paint to peel. So it gets behind it and starts lifting it. So that's usually the number one thing. So we want to make sure everything is caulked up tight. So now we don't necessarily have to worry about up in the eaves where water doesn't ever get, so you don't need cracks or seams of wood to be buttoned up tight there. But wherever rain lands, we want those cracks to be taken care of. Now there are some exceptions. Maybe you've got a home that has window casings that are applied right to the siding and it was never caulked, and as long as water can flow through, that'll be fine. But if you caulk the bottom of it and water goes in, then it's got nowhere to go and no way to dry out. So maybe you're up in the forest and you get a lot of snowfall, and so snow's landing on your windowsills or piling up around the bottom of the siding. That's gonna keep it wet longer too. So you gotta make sure that at least if there's cracks, water can drain out. If not, let's seal it up so water never gets in. So a few other areas we see paint peeling is around gutter ends. So the end caps and the outside corners, the inside corners of gutters, when that joint starts leaking, when that sealant that's inside the gutter starts breaking down and that water slow drips, and that can cause your fascia to get wet longer. So imagine you've got an end cap on your gutter and your gutter's got a little pine needles in it, and you think it's empty because it hasn't rained in 2 weeks, but really what you got is a ½ inch of needles up there, and that's keeping it wet. Or it's winter time and there's an inch of ice up there, and so it's going to drip out that end cap for the next 2 or 3 weeks until it all melts. So you're getting a wet spot on that fascia continually. Another area we see a lot of peeling is on door frames if they're exposed to weather. So this is usually a service door, so like the side of your garage or back of your garage, and all the rain and snow hits it, and that door frame butts down into your metal threshold. So we're always going to caulk where that threshold meets, or the threshold meets the door frame. So we want to seal that up. So when that door frame is assembled by the manufacturer, it's cut and trimmed to the right size, and they put it together, but they never prime the bottom of that door jamb. It's raw wood, and wood is always, think of it like a straw. So you've got a raw cut, and if water gets in there through that crack, it just kind of wicks that moisture right up, and it makes that door frame wet from the inside, and that causes paint to peel off. So same thing happens on fascia. When fascia starts peeling at the miter joints, is the miter joints were cut from the carpenter, he put it up, but it was not primed on that end cut. So it's, again, it's like a straw, and moisture just travels through a board just like a straw. So just as if that tree was still alive, it's going to travel right through it. So other things we see peeling on is pop-outs on a house, a windowsill, because if you're in a certain area, you could have snow that could lay on it for weeks, and it works its way. Water finds its way. So we need to stop water from getting where it shouldn't get, and that solves a lot of it. And probably the last big thing we see is if somebody paints over chalky paint. Or dirty paint. So that's why we're always washing a house. So you can imagine if somebody came and painted a house and there was chalk on it, or there was dirt or dust on it, they paint over it. That paint could stick for 2 or 3 days or 2 or 3 years, but it's certainly not going to stick for 10 years. And then it starts sheeting off. And that's actually the worst kind of peeling. If paint peels off of wood, we can scrape it and sand it and reprime it and get it sound. But if paint is peeling off of other paint, it's hard to get it all. So it'll peel off in that one spot, but the rest of it is going to peel a year later or 2 years later, and it just takes our paint for a ride. So that's the worst case scenario. So let's hope your house wasn't painted over dirt or chalk. And other than that, I think we can prep it and make it a good sound surface for your future long-lasting job.